from the get-go, but we overlooked those things.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pay attention. I didn't pay attention. I paid somewhat attention to how he spoke to me, which in the beginning he spoke to me all nice and everything. We call that love bombing. But as I got more and more involved in the relationship, um, I started to learn later in life, oh no, he can't talk to me like this. And no, I'm not going to allow that. And because I changed it later in the game, my marriage was pretty much over
Right.
because I wanted to change up later in the middle of the marriage when what he was throwing already was what he was already throwing.
Right. And that's what you're
Um,
saying by about like ignoring the signs. Like these things were already there. They already existed.
yeah, stood up and said, "No, you can't talk to me that way," because I would have changed the narrative in somewhat type of way. He would know, like, "No, honey, you can't talk to me that way," But I allowed it for so long, and I'm not blaming myself or anyone, but you teach people how to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also, I don't care who raised you, but in the end of the day, you teach yourself and other people how you gonna be handled.
Absolutely. And I believe in that. And I didn't
Uh,
always know that, right? And
I
so I was couldn't
handled.
figure out why people, was handling me a certain way, but I realized I was teaching them how to treat me. So I couldn't be mad at my husband.
That, yep, yep.
Is angry, and I don't think I really wanted to be angry because I knew going in we shouldn't have got married. In all honesty, if I'm being honest, and that's the thing, like you could go so let's go beyond and let's be truthful. If I'm
Mm.
honest with myself, we should have not got married. When I tell you the spirit gave me signs through a television, it gave me signs through a book, it gave me signs through people, it gave me signs through my own intuition, and I chose not to listen. And so, if I'm honest with myself, when he said to me, "Hey, let's talk," I already knew what the conversation was about. And sometimes we ignore all of that just to be mad at the person and point the finger and be more mad about the thing that happened that you knew was going to happen or could happen because we ignored the warning signs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you let's see, what did you say? So what what was some of your learned behavior that you finally realized that you brought into the marriage, right? Because we're not here to bash the guys. I can't bash a man. I need my man. I love them and
I
I
do.
need them to survive. But
Good.
I would much rather a healthier version of them. But when we are healthy versions of ourselves as women, we can then teach them to be healthy because from the beginning we set our boundaries. From then we let them know how to treat us. And what I was saying earlier with my ex-husband is that I taught him how to mistreat me because he saw how I mistreated myself. He saw how I wasn't loyal to me. He saw how I was drowning in this people pleasing thing. He saw how that I was stuck in Christianity and not in a spiritual relationship with Christ, right? That's a totally different thing. This Christianity and having a spiritual relationship with the lover of your soul are two different things. And he paid attention to that. And so, but why wouldn't he have, right? And so I couldn't be mad at him for handling me a certain way because he watched how I mishandled me. And so, what is the thing that you know that you saw that you brought to the table that helped somewhat condone this experience?
I think that I was not fully like trusting of myself. I was easy going personality, which is not bad. But there
Mm-hmm.
are things that in life that you should pay attention more to, like when people are doing certain behaviors and things like that. That's something that you need to be aware of and not like pretend it's something else, because when your brain tells you the first thing about something, you should believe that first thought that comes in your brain. But
Mm-hmm.
what I did was I kept intentionally just shoving it down.
Right. Because
My
we need a good man. You got to have a good
I
man.
was I
Oh.
wasn't listening to my intuition then. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of times I wasn't listening to the little voice that said warning sign, or
Warning, warning,
yellow,
warning.
yellow right now, or it's a flag. But in
Right.
my I would I would try to pretend it wasn't a flag. I try to come up with some other type of excuse or
Mm-hmm.
explanation. Sometimes the explanation is it is what it is, and let's
Yeah.
just
And then I think it's Maya Angelou quote that says, when a person shows you who they are,
believe.
believe them. Right. And I think, and that don't mean that you
That's a
can't.
true statement. Yes,
Yeah,
I
and I don't think
have
that that means that you
the
can't
most.
love them, you can't appreciate them, or you can't value them, but believe them enough according to how you want to use them or implement them into your story. So if you show me that you are a thief, then I can still trust you when we in your house because you probably not gonna steal your stuff. But I can't trust you in mine, right?
Good.
So it don't mean that we have to excommunicate people from our lives because that's almost unrealistic, especially when you have minor child, right? You just said that there was something that was going to always keep you connected to this ex-husband because y'all now have minor child. Me and my ex-husband, we didn't have any kids, so it made the disconnect a lot smoother, I feel. And so when you do have a minor child or things connected, whether this is property, we had the house that I talked about, but I walked away from all of that, right? And so and in your point, you couldn't necessarily walk away from everything. And so how has navigating, finding Keisha, learning Keisha, and exploring who Keisha is, why still haven't been connected to the father of your child, your ex-husband?
It's funny because it's a funny thing. And it really is true that when you do have children and the marriage doesn't work out, that is a daily reminder. It's not that you hate your kids or anything like that. By God means no.
Yeah.
Um, because you have to remember that there was a time I love your father. I love your father so much that it hurt me, and it still does hurt me that we both failed you. I mean, I just
Mm,
I'm very honest with my kid because what I don't want him to do is to grow up with statements or things that he believe in his head because he came up with those things. So I want to be able to nail every answer the best way I can.
yeah. Yes.
Also speak to his dad on that. But what I really do tell my son is that yeah, I'm disappointed, that we didn't turn out to be, a household together. Um, but to look at it this way, you got two homes you get to be in,
Mm,
and we're working it out as your parents. And I'm always try to be honest with you, and if anybody's saying that if they have kids with their divorced husband that they don't hurt, they a liar because
yeah.
you know what? You can't heal from that. If you can't heal if you don't think there's a wound that was
Right.
bullet you thought was bulletproof. Because
Mm,
I just because I say I walk with the scars does not mean that I wear them every day. They
woo.
embedded in me. And I cry for my son. Yeah, I cry for the marriage, but is it every day? No. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it,
Mm-hmm.
it is a sore that will likely be forever deep and never, never, never fully recovered because that was a
Right.
part of life that you still have attached to because you still got to be parents to this kid, and we still got to step together sometime on children activities and medical needs and stuff. So we will have to, at all best costs with the child, is to be mature enough to say,
Yes.
we're gonna be in the room together. We're gonna have to be in the room together sometime. We may not like it, but we created this person right here, and it ain't their fault.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
stop
And I
blaming.
know, so many
I've
children.
been there. I've been there where I don't, get a little argument with my kid, but then sometimes I be like, no, that ain't him. That's me right there.
Mm-hmm.
We go
Mm-hmm.
apologize because I know
Right.
I might have snapped a little bit too much, but that ain't even his fault right there. Okay,
Right. Right.
they're the kids. We don't need to be getting upset with it because I got to take care of this child. Da, 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 da. Well, they ain't to blame, okay? We
Mm,
can't because they look like them or look like her. Does
right.
not mean put all it on it. That's an innocent party. They
Right.
have no fight in the damn game. So
Yeah.
stop snapping at your children. I know it's a lot to say sometimes, especially, when we already got a lot of stuff going on. Then the kid might say something that daddy doesn't normally say, a statement from him, and you like, why don't you just get rid of that statement, because it annoys me. And then we go off, and that ain't even the kid's fault.
Right.
But
Right.
the kid has both. We need to understand that the kids have both your mom and dad genes, So try to be easy. I try to be easy on my son too, because he already know, he's rolling his eyes. Oh, mama doing that again, And I'm like,
Yeah. And so I know one of the things that helped me to that like stayed in the or go along with something that I knew wasn't gonna work. And so my mom said to me one day, you just can't keep a good man, is what she said. And I was just like, oh. And so I didn't realize then what she was perceiving that what was a good man. And so, mind you, I had worked since I've been 14. I was very, self-sufficient, and I won't say independent because I love needing people. So I wasn't independent. I was self-sufficient because in my independency, I understand that I'm a movement by myself. But I'm a force when we're together, right? I'm good by myself, but I know that people make me better. People allow the mirror experience that I need so that I can see me. And so her saying, you can't keep a good man and all of that. And so I realized that what she wanted for me was security. She felt like having this marriage was going to put her daughter in a space where she could be secure. And as like a mom, she could sit back and like put her feet up and be okay. So she was really saying to me, but I took it that I needed to marry this guy because he was a good guy to the world. But although I knew and I could start seeing that he necessarily wasn't, I wanted to give my mom the thing that she wanted for me, and that was for me to be in a safe place. And so I stayed there. And then also the societal pressure of getting married and that kind of thing. So when it comes to Christianity, like you're living a sinful life if you're shacking up and you're doing all these kind of things. And so I didn't want to let Christianity down, but so I chose to marry this guy that I knew, one, was not gonna be like the love of my life, and not only that, he really wasn't in the business of making me better. He didn't really care about if he empowered me. He didn't care about if he was teaching me. He didn't care about if he was like really leading our household. And so it was like you said, all these like telltale signs of these things, but to try to be the people pleasing, because I said I was drowning into people pleasing and Christianity, that I literally almost lost myself. Like if I would have pointed the blame only at my ex-husband and really said how he was only at fault, and not seeing the part that Sierra played, the things that I came in there with complacency and afraid of my own greatness and not knowing how to receive from my light, because I give a light and I should be able to receive from it too. And so if I was unwilling to give myself that gift of myself and understanding what I bring to the table and who I am, I could still be so angry, so bitter, hate man, have heart in my heart, all these things that sometimes typically happen on the surface that then seeps down into us. And like you said, it shows up in now how I communicate with my child. It shows up in now me saying I want love again, because now you want this new love to make up for what your last love didn't do or couldn't do. And you want this person who's showing you they want to be there to jump through all these hoops because of the love that don't happen. And that's what happened when you don't allow yourself to be true about what the part that you play in the situation. And so I'm taking this into a question. And so with that being said, when it comes to how you're now raising your son, how are you now able to do that in a way where it's not just bashing the dad? Because I think you shared a little bit about how, just having those real conversations, with him, just saying like, we both failed you. But how now are you intentionally doing things so he don't repeat the thing, right? So he don't think that marriage is a bad thing. So he don't feel like falling in love is something that he's not supposed to do, because sometimes That's what we give our children. Don't trust the man. Don't ever get married because it didn't work out for us.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I'm now in a process where it took me, is still taking me. I would say from the divorce process to, here now, I've taken time away not to date people, just to get to know a new Keisha, because I can't go back to the old Keisha because the old Keisha didn't have children, she wasn't married, and I can't go forward yet because I got to know what's in the middle now and what took the divorce. I think that the divorce saved my life. It literally did. The way I moved around, black men are already in jail enough. So what I did was I did an alternative way of doing case management work, getting the resources I needed to, effectively separate, because
Mm,
uh,
mm,
he's still his parent, and being locked up ain't gonna do nothing good for nobody.
mm-hmm.
Unless they aggressively try to end my life, then yeah, jail is the only way. But I think as we remain consistent, I would say, with co-parenting, I know sometimes we call off on things, but consistency is key, because my son can see, who's playing their roles, and
Right. Right.
being an impact is trying to like be willing to say, okay, we didn't work out, but you're going to see your dad on these days, and you're going to be back with mom on these days. And just seeing that he can see that even after the divorce, we still are a team for you.
Yes.
Mommy
Yes.
and work out, you still our kid. You can't go back.
Yeah.
We got to work on it, it. So just because you divorced and you got kids don't mean like you don't never see that person again. So I had to battle that, because let me tell you, I'm a thinker and sometimes an overthinker. So when I thought about, oh man, I'm gonna do this divorce, oh, we're gonna have to do the co-parent thing, oh, I'm just never gonna get rid of him, but we was once in love before, and we had this beautiful child, and so it ain't the kid fault. And
Yeah.
so I'm trying to, like, every now and then, I'm human. We say our feelings about the opposite side, but I try to apologize. If I'm in the wrong, I tell my son, hey, I'm sorry.
Right.
Mommy,
Right.
you got me off guard for a minute.
Right.
But please don't, misconstrue that we're trying to work this out and everything. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you gonna have times where you be like, oh, your mother, oh, that man, your dad. You oh, but sometimes I'm learning to like close my mouth sometimes, because he don't want to hear that about his daddy,
No,
and that child don't want to hear nothing about what you say about his mama either.
no, he don't. Right? No, he does not.
Try to defend either way. They're gonna be in
Yeah.
the middle of it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. 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 And so it's
So
almost like,
they'll be exhausted. They're gonna be like, I'm just so sick and tired of mom and dad. Like it
right.
won't
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
them to go see their mom or dad, because they know you just gonna always be talking about dad and mom, and they're gonna be like, well, why don't you just get back together with her, because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
both.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm in the business of using things, right? And so I want to be used. I know that I'm here on this planet to be used. So I want to be used up, right? Um, but I want to be used. I want to die empty, but with my heart full. And so what I mean by that is that Proverbs 4:23 say, guard your heart, for all you do flows from it. So I want to be so full that I am flowing from my heart in all the places to enrich them. And so, but I want to die empty, meaning use my gifts, use my brain, use me up. And so as we continue to, press forward in being, divorcees or whatever you want to call it, um, how have you used your divorce as like farmers use manure, the crap of life, to fertilize plants so that they will grow even more? So, how have you used that you are now in this new space that you didn't find yourself to be? And it was weird for me hearing him say he no longer wanted to be married, because I signed up for forever. So I was really confused. I was really confused.
Mhm.
And I told him that I didn't know that when I vowed to love you, that that meant that I was going to love you at a distance or away from you, or this wasn't going to be us. So it was that perspective was really hard to like just get over that hump. And I had to have a friend to say to me, don't let him tell you anymore that he don't want you, because he said you don't deserve that. And I appreciate that friend for that. And so I was able to use what I went through, use my divorce as like the catalyst of me making a stance. And I dared myself to no longer be that version of myself. And it's so much that I wrote the book. He was a little afraid of reading the book because he thought the book was about him. But as you see how I worded the book to talk about the divorce, I wasn't bashing him. I
Mm.
shared the highlights and how my perspective from a healed perspective, not me being angry and mad. Oh, I got stuff about him. Like another episode, his new wife called me concerned about some of his actions and the characteristics that I know oh so well. And yet still I did not bash him, because I'm not here to bash people, bash our man, bash another woman. I won't get in. It says a lot about you when you will bash and harm another human, and especially when you said that you once loved, right? And so how are you using the fertilizer, the thing that this divorce happened, I'm in this new space that I never thought I wanted to be in, or that I didn't even want to be in, but I'm here. And so how now are you using that to intentionally find ways for Keisha to bloom unconventionally, unapologetically, and boldly?
Mm. I like how you put that. I feel like that the divorce, like I said, if you would have saw or seen me maybe a couple of years ago, I would not say this because I would have said, "Oh, he's getting the credit or she's getting the credit." Blase, blase. But the divorce did save my life because it forced me to get out of the situation that wasn't good for me. And
Mm-hmm.
for a long, long time, I was numb to the way things were going. Oh, I'm married now. I'm not supposed to believe in divorce. He takes care of me. He makes sure, I have this and that and everything. But the way that we treated each other, that was not okay to come home and not feel safe. You know,
Yes. Yes.
and there was a lot of things in the marriage that I just got numb to, and I thought, oh, it'll get better with time. A lot of these African American um statements, or what mom said or grandma said, oh, he a good man, still he take care of the house. you know uh that's just because he love nobody should put their hands on nobody, man or woman, nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I had to make a decision that, what looks good on the outside, is it really good in the inside? If those don't match up, how a person reacts inside the home, and if it doesn't reflect on the outside, then that's something going on with imaging. Uh,
Right.
you have
Mm-hmm.
to look at these flags that say, is this person, he or she, acting the same way they act at home? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about, like, where, as far as communication, do they or do she do what she say she does, or she just speak what she gonna do, but do she do it? So you have to, like, see, like, how people adapt
Right.
the, and the real test is in the pudding and what they do. Uh,
Yes. True. True.
I
Yes.
to
Yes.
understand that, do my re-imaging myself, and that's what's getting me through, is to say, yeah, the divorce opened my eyes to see things really from another perspective, and that, not everything in life we're going to get scars from, but there are some things that we will have to, clean our wounds and start over again. And
Right.
a lot of people are like, I don't understand how people can be, um, they think change shouldn't shouldn't give you scratches and bumps sometimes. They think
Right. Right.
it's just you gonna get up and it'll be a nice path for you.
So
Uh,
have you found the beauty in there, or like I would say, have you found joy
I
in
found
the scars?
in a lot of different things of doing things that I love in the community. I love to give service. Um, and I love to, just change up things, I'm doing more like self talks to myself, I'm getting to like not being so much a people pleaser anymore, but worry about what Keisha needs, what Keisha,
Yes.
and if it don't look right, then it maybe it isn't right. And
Ooh.
you can fix something, because if it ain't right and you get that feeling that you say, something is off, then it might be off. So I'm
Mhm.
to you,
Mhm.
don't dress the flags up.
Right. Ooh, listen, it'll take Brian Hippolyte to tell you, because I think I blew his mind when I told him that. But I made those red flags into pretty trees, sister. I made those red flags into pretty trees, and then I called myself going to get my towel so I can lay under this tree. But it was never a tree. So that fake reality that you're telling yourself is never gonna provide you any shade, any protection, any solace, because it's not the real thing. You giving yourself a false narrative. And we've done that, right? Especially when you've come from childhoods that aren't ideal. And so you start using your imagination. And we use our imaginations to give ourselves things in our story that we need, so like we could be welcomed in class. Like I remember lying to the classmates saying, oh, my mom got me dressed, my dad got me dressed, when that was not true. But I was trying to like fit into a narrative so I'm not judged. But when I did that, I gave myself a false narrative. I gave myself a false tree. And that was a bunch of whole things. So I'm no longer doing that. These red flags are red flags, and it's okay. It allows you to now to realistically navigate the situation, realistically place the person in the area or the space of your life. Well, one, they can be good to them, but then also serve you, right? Because I'm not placing you into my heart space and you're damaging. I have to keep you at a bay for right now as you learn to grow and to be in a better you, while I can continue to appreciate a better me.
Yeah,
And yeah, so oh my goodness.
I
So
have to that. I have to add something to that.
go ahead, please.
Um, so yeah, the new chapter, like I had to really go through some deep healing, because I, said I had to remap. Okay, so I had to remap, reshape my mindset, and I'm still doing it, which is a daily day thing. Uh,
Right.
but I used to jump in relationships, but now I'm a little bit saying, whoa, slow down, let me sit and think about different things now, because I am worried more about how Keisha thinks, what Keisha wants in the relationship, versus all about, what
Yeah.
they would like in the relationship, because it's got to be a compromise. So I'm learning that, there has to be a healthy balances in a relationship.
Yes. Yes.
Who's gonna do that, da da da, and a relationship negotiation.
Yes.
We
Right.
that relationships are business deals. I'm gonna do this, if you do that. It's just trading and being okay with being communication on
Mm-hmm.
you want what you need, and not playing a guessing game. See,
Yeah.
I'm hitting 40, that I'm just like, it's a
I
new
ain't got time. I ain't got time.
chapter, and I'm not in the guessing game about like, well, what you want, call it like it is, so nobody gets surprised, because this
Right.
game of life is yeah, full of surprises, but you don't want someone that's supposed to be your key partner in life to surprise you with some unnecessary surprise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Aware of who that person is, and how do you know, and how do you do, because I went through this several times. You got to see what people do in action. They
Right.
talk a good game. That's how I got messed up. Talk the good game, but then when it came to do, they footsteps was very slow at going.
Right.
I
Right.
had understand, like if you really want a real one, see what they do.
Right, right. And then don't be testing them, right? So I don't like a woman or a man that tests. Oh, I'm just testing you. Because listen, you put me in a room where I could take a lot of money
It's
at the
a rat
phone
race.
without, I'm probably going to take the money, right? So don't test me. I'm not a killer, but don't push me. So when you say, oh, I'm just testing them, and then he shows up in a way that you really didn't want him to show up, because now he really showed you a characteristic in him that you really don't want him to have, but you tested it because you wanted to see if it was there or not. Don't test people, because some people can be recovering. And while they're on their journey to recovery, to being better versions of themselves, now you tested me, but I'm not quite healed. I ain't quite got it together. And now you done sidetracked this person and testing them, and now they failed themselves, and now they failed you. And then you'll be like, oh, I told you you wouldn't, and I told you you couldn't. But you really wasn't trying to help me. You was really setting me up. So stop testing people. And if you gonna test me to be better. Don't test me to fail. So, ladies and men, if you're going to test people, test them to be better versions of themselves. Because if nothing else, even if you're not testing them to be better for you, we're testing them to be better, period. Because they're going to go out into the world, and we want better people in our planet. We don't want hurt men and bitter women. I'm over that, right? I want us to see how we are the yin and the yang to each other. What if we're sleeping and sexualizing each other? I need me a man. And so, sister, just as we get ready to like wrap up here, so have you two questions, like, and I'm traffic jamming them, two questions. Is marriage still a thing for you? Is marriage still something that you're open to? And then two, are you are you a bitter divorcee, or are you a free divorcee? And that's how we'll close the segment.
I will definitely be looking towards remarrying. And that goes also with, like, you can find love again after you heal, though. You don't want to jump into anything too quick, and you can say, well, how do I know if I'm healed quickly? It's because you don't react to those triggers like you used to, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Those triggers are a little bit lesser now. What used to get aggravated ain't as aggravating anymore.
Right.
So you learn how to deal with things, by addressing them. Like I said, no more hiding what you feel. If it is what it is, then it is what it is. And
Mm-hmm.
thought that thought the first time, then believe that first
Right.
thought.
And it also is what it ain't, right? We don't get that. We talk about it is what it is, but let me introduce to us.
If it
It
ain't,
is what it ain't. You can't make Walgreens sell what Nike sell. You can't. It is what it ain't. Walgreens don't have Nike products. So you can't get with a man. Oh, he fine. He make a lot of money. He got a big eggplant. You can't make him be respectful. It is what it ain't. He don't come with that. But are you willing? Is this something that can be nurtured into him? Or is this something that he have yet to even understand how he deserves this, right?
yes,
So it
yes,
sometimes is what it is not, people. And I'm saying that from the heart because I love you. And you need to know it is what it is, but it also sometimes is what it ain't. All right, Keisha. I thank you again for tuning in for
all
another
right.
episode of Beyond the Story. So if you have closing remarks for a woman who has possibly, she's heard yesterday or maybe on her lunch break that he no longer wants to be married to her, what is your advice to keep her moving forward?
The advice I would give to you is that sometimes we have to remap, and it's okay sometimes to remap, because you rather be in something that's real and honest than to live a life that is full of not once. You
Mhm.
know, remap, reshape, change your mindset. You'll be all right, honey. I did it.
Yeah, yeah, and me too. And so
For
I would encourage you to remap, reimagine, right? tap back into your childlike faith. As adults, we forget that route. We forget the route to playing towards our strengths. We forget the importance that laughter is medicine. Scripture tells us that. And most of all, we have lost our ability to depend on a person. We have, like, we've somehow have lost the concept that God uses people. Like, Jesus looked Jesus looked like a human for you to know that God uses people, the people in the grocery store, the bum on the street, the person in your neighborhood association. Like, God uses people to be the reflection that you need, or the helping hand that you need. So don't not depend on the person. Don't go through divorce alone. Don't do life alone. Don't do nothing alone. Know that you are a central being of yourself, but it's nothing like joining forces. Right, we are more than meets the eye when we come together and we relearn that we need people. Like I was saying earlier, I love you, I need you, and I never want that to be misconstrued. But yeah, exactly. And so in closing, again, thank you, Keisha, for joining us. And so thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Story. And the story today was divorce. And listening to me and Keisha Hart's talk about understanding and a healed version of going through that situation and what that could look like. And so a better you equals a better me. Keep smiling, keep shining, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.